Okay guys, so something a bit different today. As you can see, I have LED lights, or not LED, old fluorescent lights, which I'm planning on taking apart. So you can see here that I have quite a large amount. I've also got some spotlights and some large indoor lights as well to take apart. So if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do, and we'll get scrapping these out and see what's inside them. Hopefully some nice ballasts like what E. Matthews found, or maybe there's nothing, but so there's a nice amount there for me to go through today, so we'll start scrapping them out now in a second. Okay, so we're ready to go, and we'll see what's inside these. So we have a few little screws that we need to take off first. So we should expect to find some wire, hopefully some ballasts with copper in them, and these gloves are not the best for doing this job, even though it's a cold morning. We'll go. So screws, so that one's already taken out. So we have our cover, steel cover, and then we have our ballast here. So it's one of the newer types of ballasts, so I'm not expecting a great amount of copper in them, but copper is copper, as they say. So just remove this screw. I just need to stop the nut from behind from moving. Okay, so that should let the ballast out. No, not quite. This one hasn't moved yet. So okay, so again, they look like kinda just normal screws. Don't look anything special. So that's our ballast with our wire, which I'll get my cutters if I don't throw it away. So we just cut the wires. So we've got a copper wire. And up here, some more copper wire. So there's our ballast, which we'll look into later on. So I'm just going to continue doing these. As you can see, I have a nice little stack ahead of me that I need to get through. So I'm just going to continue going through all these, strip them down, and remove anything that's of value to me, such as the copper and things. Now I also found that these had contained little brass rings, which were there, which I've already removed on most of them. So we have our, I'll give you a sample of what they are. That's our little brass rings. So we have our little brass nuts that were on most of these lights here. So they were in the holes here, sorry. So they were fitted like that, screwed up into another fitting, and that's what I'm doing. So I've already removed them on them. So I'm going to pause the video there, and we're going to take them apart, or I might just leave the video running and fast forward it in the editing at a later stage. So we'll see what happens. So we'll see how it goes. Okay guys, so as you can see, I've taken a good few of these apart now. There's not much left to be done. I had, I'd say, over 170 of them, and I'll have more to come. So I've also pulled out these lights here, which I'll take apart in future videos, which has good chunks of aluminium on them. And as you can see from the skip where all the steel is thrown, so we have a good chunk, and I still have some more lights, so need to get these out as well. That seems to be an aluminium, but I'll test that and see if it's aluminium. If it is, I'll take that with me. So we'll go back now and finish up, and we'll go inside and take apart the ballasts and see what's inside them. Okay, so we're back inside now after taking all them fluorescent lights apart to get the ballasts inside them. So as you can see from, I'll just raise the camera up there, you can see my box full of them here. So we'll put the camera back. So this is what I have. We can just pull one out as it's going. So that's it there with the bits of cable onto it. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to remove the cable from them. So I'll just cut off the bits of cable. So we'll have our wire. I also wanted to show you these are on them as well. If I can remove the actual cover from it, might just need to get a screwdriver or a knife. Actually, probably a knife would be the best thing. A little old flat butter knife or something like that. Doesn't need to be a sharp knife, it just needs to get inside of here to take this apart. So just a little bit of plastic, another little bit of plastic, but inside of here we have little connectors of brass or copper. Let me have a look. They seem to be copper, so each one of them little connectors have little copper connectors inside. So again, I can remove them, and the same on this one. Just pull it out, or cut it maybe. So again, you can see nice little bit of copper, and there's still a bit of it in there, but I'll take that out with the pliers. It'll be easiest, or something like that type of thing. So altogether, I'd say I've got about 200 ballasts. They're very light, so they're not the heavy copper ones like Ian Matthews had in one of his videos. So if you haven't seen that, guys, check out Ian Matthews' video. Ian, you lucky son of a gun that you got the good ballasts. I got the light ones, which I'm not expecting too much in. So we're just left with the wire there then. So this is the ballast. I'll just lock that up for a second. So this is the ballasts that I got, and as you can see, the high performance electronic ballasts. So these are not the solid copper ones. They're just more or less going to be, I presume by the weight of them, they're going to be like a power board more than anything else. So there's just some little clips here that you can see there. So we just put a knife or something in under there and do the same on the other end. Have to go back up a bit. There we go. So we have them two sides off each side, which will just pull off. So again, a little bit of steel. Not really interested in it. And there's our, essentially a power board. So we have a bit of copper in them. We'd have copper here, copper windings here. Again, you can break them up and take them apart, take out the copper. And again here we'd have copper. So they'd be the two things I'd be looking at taking off this board. There doesn't seem to be much of anything else there of value. I'll just get a screwdriver and take the board off and have a look at the other side of it. But I have a lot of them, so they'll add up. They'll hopefully add up. No, wrong size screwdriver. I just want to get a look under the board and see what's in it. So I have a lot of copper wire. I'll have a from this, and the copper bearing motors of sorts, or transformers, whatever way you want to call them. So again, nothing underneath there, just steel. And the far side of the board, nothing again. You can see the discolorant on the board, how it's a different colour from years of heat. Some MOSFETs. Again, I'll take off the MOSFETs. They'll contain copper. Sometimes you might be looking to get one. So you can see there how this board had burned out. So that's why that had stopped working. That's why the company I got all these from have changed to LED. They're putting in all LEDs. I think they have over 800 lights to change in total. So I'll get a nice mount out of it, of them. If I had anywhere to take the steel, I'd take the steel as well, but I don't. So you can see there when the board breaks, it was that soft. There's our little MOSFETs. They should contain copper, but not 100% sure on this one, but we'll smash it up later. So there's the other MOSFET. So again, it's just a matter of loosening that off. That's our little MOSFETs off. So again, you can put them in a bucket or whatever and put them aside. I don't think there's anything else of real value here. Someone might leave something in the comments and let me know if there's anything in real value. I'm going to have a look under these to see. Sometimes these can have little bits of copper in them. If we can get it to come off. Might need to get a better pliers. Actually, might just use the cutter and cut the top of it and see if there's anything of value in there. So it's quite hard to get it off. Won't even cut through. We'll use both hands. Oh, we're going to try and use both hands. Picked up the wrong one. Still doesn't want to come out. We'll just see if we can break it out. We can. As I say, sometimes these things can contain copper, but this doesn't look like it contains anything like that. Put that in the middle. Oh, well, there we go. Smashed it in half and nothing there, and I'll just get the other bit that flew across the floor and see if there's anything in it. Nothing there. And this is the main part. So I just had a plastic casing over it, and inside of here looks like an aluminium covered some sort of epoxy on it. If anyone knows anything about that, can let me know in the comments. Is there any value to them? So that's kind of all you're going to get in them. Now there was another type of ballast that I got, probably buried down near the bottom of this box somewhere. It was a heavier one. Wasn't this one, but this is another type. Some of them had battery packs in them, so they were emergency lighting. So I'll just have a look inside one of them and see. They had a second ballast. They had two ballasts. One was the normal one I've just taken apart, and then there was, I think this is the other one. I just want to double check something. Yeah, because you can see here the difference between the two of them. So this one had a lot more connections inside than this one had. You can even see it at the ends here where the wires are connected to the board. It had a totally different setup. So we'll just have a look inside of this one and see if there's anything better inside of these ones, because again there's a good few of them as well mixed in. So some of the lights had two ballasts and a battery pack. So when we look inside of it, it is looking different straight away. So does that come out? It just lifts out. So again, just some steel and some more steel there. A little bit of backing plastic of sorts. And again, you can see here where it's discolorant, burnt down along here, and you can see the discolorant actually on the board from the heat over time. So got a bigger, chunkier piece of copper motor here, another one here, and copper windings here. So we'll just break that off. So again, that's a nice piece of copper wire that's fairly easy, just removed from the actual holder that it's held on with. So it just winds off it. So it's not going to be very time consuming, just pulls off. So again, it's got a lacquer coating on it, but what I plan on doing on some of this stuff is I plan on melting it down and making ingots with it. So that should get rid of any of the coatings and stuff like that. Now again, I want to cut through that to make sure that it is copper all the way through. So we'll just, because sometimes there might be an aluminium, but no, that has copper all the way through. And just to double check it, we'll get that knife and we'll just do a little bit of a scrape to take off the lacquer. So even when that's removed, it's copper all the way underneath it. There's no aluminium coming through or anything else. So that's a nice little bit of copper. On that one, we'll just have a look here again. So again, we have them yellow, whatever they are. We have all little sort of diodes and stuff like that I don't know much about. So the main things again I'll be looking at taking off is the copper here, and putting them in my copper bearing motors or transformers, whatever way you want to call them. And that's kind of it. Again, inside of here, they're just the copper wires going in, and it seems to be like an aluminium. You just press down there to release the wire. Yeah, it's not copper inside of there. It's like aluminium or some sort of metal that connects onto it. But again, we have a lot of copper wire, small bits of wire. They all add up if you put them in with your insulated wire. So I'm going to continue on here, and when I come across that other ballast that I want to show you, then we'll come back to the video. But the main things I'm going to be looking on these boards instead of taking off are these copper motors. I'll hold on to the boards after I take them off, just in case there's anything else there that might be worth keeping. So if anyone sees anything on this board, leave it in the comments that if something here contains some sort of metal that you think I should be taking off. Let me know in the comments. Is there anything on there that I should take off besides the copper? So I'm going to continue on here with this, and we'll come back when I'm finished and when I come across that other ballast. So there'll be hopefully a lot of wire, we'll have a lot of these boards and a lot of metal to get rid of. So that's it. Check back and when I come across the rest of the stuff. Okay, so I've removed all the cabling from the ballasts there. So you can see I have a bag of cabling there, a couple of kgs of cabling, copper wire insulated. You can strip that down. I may strip that down into normal copper wire, or I might just send it in as it is. So that's really it for the video. Just to summarise, this is the ballasts. I'll take them apart. It's too good of a day today to start taking them apart. I've already taken one apart, or two to show you. So again, I'll just do a quick recap on it. So what I'm looking at, just flicking these covers off. So it's a matter of getting in underneath, flicking the cover off, and this one should just slide away from it. Don't think anything holds it on. Might be just a bit of sticky tape. Just a bit of sticky tape, and that's it. Steel, bit of plastic. So as I said, there was two types. So copper, I'll remove that, unwind that copper, and then we have more that are driven with copper bearing motors or transformers. Same here. So that's one type of the ballast. The other type that was in there was one which had less in it. So again, just a quick recap. Same thing, just remove that. Now this had two screws holding it in. Oh, throwing it away. So just a matter of removing the screws. Once I have the screws removed, we can remove the actual power board. So one screw. So altogether I'd say I'd have maybe 600 or 700 of these to do. I already done just a small proportion of them there for the video. The rest I'll be doing off video. So again, same thing, we have copper windings here with no tape over them. This type has the tape over them, so sometimes the ones without the tape, it's easier to smash them open and just remove the wire. And again, the same here, we have another one here, just do the same thing, smash it open with a hammer. Once you take it off, hit it with a hammer, then that'll let you take it apart. And we also had the two MOSFETs which were there that usually contain a bit of copper. So again, they usually contain copper inside of them, so a little bit of copper in them. Now, so that was the ballast there. I also found these two types of ballasts, or one type, two of them. So they're a big heavy, couple of kg, maybe 2 kg weight. Seems to be covered in steel. So these may be the type that Ian Matthews had. If anyone hasn't seen Ian Matthews' video on his ones, I thought I'd struck the copper mine when I got hold of all these, but these aren't as heavily coppered as hopefully this one is. So again, I have two of them, so they hopefully would be big chunks of copper inside them when I cut them open. I also found that some of them had these batteries, which were nickel cadmium, is it, or cadmium batteries. So again, I just need to find a buyer for them. I know they can be sold. So there's a lot of the lights had them in them. So again, it's just to find some scrapyard that'll buy them off me. Also, we have a lot of these little fittings. So these plastic fittings which have brass inside them. So again, I'll smash them open with a hammer and take the brass bits from them. Also here, there's a little glass fuse. So you have a little glass fuse, but down inside of here you have some little copper connections. So again, you can just break that out, I presume. Mightn't be that easy. There we go. And that should, hopefully I should be able to grip onto the copper. If I can get a little bit of a grip on it. To try and remove it. Not as easy as I thought it was going to be. Never are. So again, the hammer should rectify that problem once I yeah, so there it is, a little bit of copper, not much, but a little bit of copper, all adds up. Again, inside of here, these contain copper, so it was a matter of finding the back again, getting the knife in there, flicking it open. So we have our little bit of copper again. So one bit and another bit of copper. So it all adds up. It's just a little bit of copper you get from them. So again, these didn't have any brass inside of here. It was only the white ones. They did have the fuse, I think. Or did they? Maybe they didn't. They did, yeah, a little glass fuse, but again, no copper inside of that. So it was only the white ones that had the copper inside and had the brass connections. So it's just how it all adds up. I also found them brass rings that I showed at the start of the video. So that's it. Not as good as I thought it was going to be. So Ian, you found the proper ones. I got the cheaper versions. So I didn't find the copper mine I thought I'd found. But thanks for watching the video, guys. Please give a like, please give a share, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And until the next video, guys, keep on looking for that gold and copper or whatever you're looking for.